Ready whenever you are.
Well, I'm recording.
Okay. How's my hair? My hair okay?
Yeah, it looks awesome underneath that hat.
This is my good side, right?
Yeah, it's your good side. So we're all loaded up. It's a gorgeous, absolutely beautiful, sunny Friday afternoon. So we decided to pack up the truck and head towards Greenwood. We're actually scheduled for a ghost walk tonight in Greenwood to learn a little bit of the history. Really excited to go to that. It's at 7 o'clock tonight. And check into, hopefully we can find a campsite. We're heading towards Boundary Falls Provincial Park. We've stayed there a couple of times. It's a great spot just for a kind of an overnight if you're traveling through. It is right off the off the highway, but they have really nice sites beside the creek and really close to Greenwood. We haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time in Greenwood. We've driven through, explored for maybe half an hour or so. So we're pretty excited to be able to do the ghost tour tonight, and then tomorrow spend the rest of the day around the Greenwood area and see what we can see.
Cheers, everybody. Welcome to Casa Les Dirt. This, to us, is glamping. Normally we have a small little tiny backpack tent with this little like half-inch foamy on the bottom, or an air mattress. Check this out. This bad boy, 2 feet thick, just like being.
Except he can't open the door.
Working on it. Well, you know, let's go on this side.
Oh my.
There we go. Now,
This is our glamping.
If that's not comfort, I don't know what is.
And if you can make out, custom made blanket. Yes, those are our names. It's going to be so nice tonight. We're going to be able to lay here and listen to the creek that's down there. We're just going to chill, relax a little bit.
It's not how you stand by your truck, it's how you drive your truck. You gotta remember that.
Okay. No fire ban yet. Look at how green it is. This time last year it was so dry.
I can't remember the last time I saw this much green.
It was just, the drive up here was absolutely gorgeous. And again, just being able to listen to the creek going by is amazing. That bug spray is a definite necessity. The mosquitoes are in full swing already. Yep. So
that they are. I've
got out our Thermacell and right beside it Afterbite because they love me.
Here we are. Hi.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
So our ghost tour on Friday night was absolutely amazing. A really great surprise was we were actually able to go right into the old city hall that was built in 1903. And upstairs is the old Supreme Court, and everything is original. The stained glass windows, the stained glass on the ceiling, the judge's bench, the judge's quarters. And then we were able to go downstairs to see the original jail with one of the original jail cells. We've got some pictures and a little bit of video from in there, but oh my goodness, and so many great stories. It was just amazing. So this morning we went into the Greenwood Museum and we just did a tour in there. And we have a Greenwood Heritage Walk, a self-guided walk that we're going to do. So join us as we do an amazing short little walk through this beautiful, small, historic city. So much history here, and it is the smallest city in Canada. So let's go. So Greenwood actually came into existence in 1895 when Robert Wood recognized the potential for a town site that was within easy traveling distance for so many of the mining camps that are around the area. So there was Phoenix, Deadwood, oh my goodness, that's just a couple of them, so many. And it really paved the way for Greenwood to become the social and economic and political hub of the entire booming Boundary region at the time. So we're walking up to the site of the 123-year-old St. Jude's Anglican Church, where it used to be. Beside it was also the school, and there was also a home. On May 9th of this year, 2024, there was a big explosion in the church, and it took just minutes for that 123-year-old church to burn down. Even more tragic, there was a senior lady that lost her home, and another gentleman that had his home in the old schoolhouse that lost his home as well. As you can see, if you turn around, the fire hall that we just walked by is very close. Thankfully, the fire departments from nearby Grand Forks and Midway were also here to put out the blaze. Absolutely tragic. At this point, they still have no idea what started the blaze. The bell from the bell tower in the church actually came down from the city of Phoenix in 1918 or 19, and it was still hanging in the bell tower. It did fall, but it is still in okay shape, and the museum has put in a request for it to be salvaged and put on display in the museum, which I really hope they do. And just a shout out to Doreen from the Greenwood Museum. She was full of information, really lovely lady. If you're driving through Greenwood, please don't just drive through. You're missing so much if you do. Stop, go into the museum. Their displays are really great. It's only $5 a person to walk through. They love telling their story, and this city really relies on the tourists that come through here. As I mentioned earlier, from our Ghost Walk Friday night, we're heading up to the original City Hall that was built in 1903. It was honestly the highlight of the tour. It's right across from the fire hall. So the first occupant of City Hall was William McMinn. He was the Chief Constable, Gold Commissioner, Mining Recorder, and Registrar of the Supreme and County Courts. The basement, as I mentioned, housed 3 jail prison cells. The main floor was offices, and right now it's still offices. There's a ICBC auto plan insurance office inside there on the main floor, and the back is still used by City Hall on the main floor. So we're walking towards the Federal Post Office building, built in 1915. It originally housed the Canada's Customs office on the 2nd floor, and also a residence, still used as a post office today. And the original brass mailboxes are still in use today. And Doreen at the museum said that we can go into one of these doors, it should be open, and see the original mailboxes that they still use. I can't remember which one she said, but we're going to try this one first.
Must be the one.
These are the right ones. Oh, beautiful. Look at the floor. The penny tile.
Wow, that's incredible.
Beautiful.
Look at these old mailboxes. Those are crazy. Awesome that they still use these and didn't decommission them.
Just the woodwork and the tile work. It's just gorgeous. Hello.
One stamp?
Yeah, one stamp, please.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Looks like they actually still use it too.
The amount of mailboxes just shows you what the population was. I mean, in its boom, it had over 3,000 residents. We're going to continue down Government Street on our self-guided tour. This yellow and green house is the Barrett House. It was built in 1898 by L.S. Moulton Barrett. He was a businessman and alderman who was elected in 1897 to Greenwood's very first city council. Oh, Jesus.
That's a big
big
scary
dog.
We'll go over here.
So we're going to head down this way, and in front of us, that building was built in 1901. It was a dry goods and hardware store. And L.A. Smith, he was from Anaconda. He was a merchant. He purchased the building in 1913. And in 1916, he sold it to Thomas Gully. Thomas Gully was a furniture merchant and mortician. Interesting, right? So as we go around to the front of the store, the bottom portion of this building was half of it was the mortuary, and the other half was his hardware store.
Interesting.
Mr. Gully was also the mayor of Greenwood from 1917 to 1929. This building was then vacant for many, many years until 1942, when 1,200 Japanese were shipped up here to Greenwood. Greenwood actually became the very first internment camp for the Japanese in 1942, and this was used as one of their residences. Apparently this building is quite haunted, as are most of the buildings in Greenwood, which we've been told, and people have actually noted that they've seen 6 children running around through that building. Not that any died in that building, but it must have been some kind of significance to them. And also a lady playing the piano.
That's creepy.
So Veterans Lane took us back down to Copper Street, which is the main street in Greenwood. All of the buildings, like some of them, like the one across from us, the front of it where you see Copper Eagle, Cappuccino, and Bakery, that dates back to 1899. Many of these buildings do. And the Greenwood Saloon and Inn, that used to be the Windsor Hotel, they've been working on it for 4 years, trying to renovate and bring it back and restore it to its original condition. Apparently, from the people we've talked to, they've run into a lot of roadblocks to do with, well, it's construction and renos. So
Old building stuff.
Old building stuff. But back in its heyday, it was just a beautiful hotel. We would love to be able to go in there, but everything's boarded up and apparently in pretty rough shape. Right next to it, that dates back to 1907, and that was the Pacific Hotel. It was nearly destroyed by a fire in 1899, and also in 1907, and it was rebuilt each time. It was never as elaborate as the Windsor. Right next to it, underneath Peterson's Grocery, you're not going to be able to see it. Maybe we can walk by after, actually in both of those buildings. Let's just cross the street and see if we can have a look. This is a highway, so we've got to be a little careful. So this one here, it's owned by, I don't know his name, but he lives in Stewart, BC, way up north, close to Hyder, Alaska. He collects toasters. So in these 2 buildings, there are, she wasn't sure of the amount, 1,500 to 2,000 toasters in here. The buildings are in pretty rough shape. Just amazing antiques in here.
Yeah, and because it's in such disrepair, nobody's actually allowed into this place, and nobody can come in, but they have to do something with it. So that's why there's toasters in it.
Where you see the Sears sign, that building dates back to 1901. And it's called the Miller Block, and it housed the telegraph office and the first post office before the post office up the hill was built. In 1942, it also housed the Japanese-Canadian internees, and it also contained one of the 4 community baths. It's known as Internment Building Number 11. Most of these buildings were used to house the 1,200 Japanese Canadians that were sent to Greenwood. Some of them actually ended up staying and made Greenwood their home. Across the street, these murals are really cool. Tell a little bit about the history of Greenwood, the smallest city in Canada. Some great murals done by the Greenwood Art Society. However, those murals also serve a purpose, which we found out again Friday night. That was home to the Bank of Commerce, which was destroyed by fire in the 1930s. And they just decided to not rebuild it. And instead of just leaving a great big gaping hole, they put up the fence and painted these lovely murals for the tourists that are driving through.
The reason there was a big gaping hole was the fire was so intense and there was not enough fire trucks or fire suppression available. They actually decided they had to blow it up with dynamite while it was burning to put the fire out. So that's why there's a large hole, and it was just left there all those years ago. Hey everybody.
Hey, so we are at the Greenwood Smelter today. This is a beautiful Saturday after our lovely ghost walk last night. So we're at the Smelter. It opened in 1901, ran to 1918. It actually serviced all the mines in the area, Deadwood, Phoenix, all the way out to Camp McKinney. The smokestack has 250,000 bricks in it that builds the stack, if Dan's going to scan up there. And then we're actually going to head down the hill and we're going to check out the great big slag pile and what they call the Hell's Bells.
The stack stands just over 100 feet tall. Imagine the labor to put that together.
Especially for 1901, just absolutely amazing. So let's head down the hill and check it out.
Let's go. Yeah, we'll start walking down. Oh, look at that. I haven't seen information on whatever this is over here. Of all the research we've done about this area, I've never heard of a building being this close to the slag. I know there's a superintendent's building somewhere. We haven't found that yet, but I don't think this is it. Look at the size of it. And the fact that it's got 3 bricks wide in the wall. Most houses were single brick. A fairly large structure, large opening there. Yeah, it's a heck of a drop if you want to walk out it. Oh yeah, if you see over here, the foundation is all the way to the edge. There's the one wall. There's a foundation running there. There's the corner. Comes back all the way this way. And obviously over there and then back. So I don't know what this was. Looks like a fire came through here at one point. Look at this piece of wood's all charred. Huh. I don't know. Pretty sweet though. Maybe after I get home I can try and find some research and figure out what the heck that is. Alright, onto the slag pile. Check out the Hell's Bells. A little farther down the trail, we have come across this. This is, I believe, exhaust for the furnace. I have no idea what this is.
Bottom of the smelter. I think when we walk in, we'll be able to see the furnaces. They had 3 large furnaces in here.
Like, these are really neat. It looks like they had doors that went on here to cover them up. And all the way through here, there's multiples. And then there's that one big one there, which, well, doesn't go anywhere at the moment. Looks like it did at one time and it's all just plugged up.
So the plant had 3 large furnaces, and they boasted a daily capacity of 600 to 700 tons each. If you look at
that exhausts right outside.
yeah, and then if you look at the ground, you can actually see all the old ash.
All that rock work. Look at the ceiling, all the brick. This must be all part of that 250,000 bricks they were talking about. These things are neat. I love those. Right, just dead ends there. Comes out there. I think it might go into another one, but I'll go around the outside to see. Kind of reminds me of being in one of those movies where they launch a rocket from underground cave, and you have to start running because they're lighting it up, and you got to get out right away. Yeah, look at the size of that thing. There used to be a bunch of buildings up top there too. Find some pictures. I'm sure I've seen some. Yeah, see, there's that other exit that comes out of the end over there I saw. This one's much bigger. Holy smokes. This one's huge. Got to be, I don't know, 10 feet wide. And see, there's the tops down here. There's the tops, those little openings on the other side we saw. I can't imagine how all this worked, but it's really, really neat to see. I think this is the one that goes straight up to the stack. We'll see in a sec. Yeah, this is the one that goes up to the stack. You can see it right there. There's that big one at the end I was at. Now that is really neat. Look at that. Used to run 24 hours a day. This looks really neat. All that brickwork still here after all these years.
But if you come down here, it's almost like there's an old cement ore chute. So maybe this is where the rail cars went through or down, because there was not rail cars, but there were bell-shaped mine carts that carried 25 tons of the slag down to the slag piles. So if you look down here,
Oh, this used to be a bunch of old buildings right here, which is part of the whole entire thing. There's the
part of it, I mean, it was a
huge
process.
operation. Thinking these foundations here, where they go to the mine carts.
Thinking so. But look at the size of this up here.
Oh wow, look at the size of this.
Look at the size of the walls. The sheer vastness of it is amazing.
It goes on forever. Oh, it's
truly amazing for 1901.
Yeah.
And it was originally built in 1898, and the original chimney was actually made of metal. It was 1901 that the chimney was made of the 250,000 bricks.
So many foundations just everywhere here. Oh, look at that big piece of machinery. It's like a turbine. Or a tipple.
You don't realize the sheer size of this place by standing at the top.
No, it's quite amazing. Oh, those bells up there.
Look, a road. You could have driven down.
There's a road?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's got to be an old tipple. They used to dump the ore into the bells. Makes sense. Cogs there. Opening, yep, tips out, falls out. Yeah, that's huge. How huge? That huge. I am 6 feet. There's the top right there. Whoop.
I can't remember who the name of the person is where it says the Botscar Memorial Park, but at one point the city of Greenwood was trying to turn the old smelter into a tourist attraction, try to revive the city. That was a few years back and obviously did not come to fruition, which is really sad.
This is the old slag pile. I've seen this from the road multiple times, but boy, sure don't get any idea how big it actually is. Huge amount of space. Stacked back there. So all the dome things you see are the called the Hell's Bells, and that was the shape of the ore carts that they used to use. And bring it down here and dump out all the slag. It's almost like walking on lava. It's very strange. It's like super smooth too, like so smooth, so weird. That stands about 6.5 feet. This is high level for me. And there's a top there. So thick too. No ideas, my fingers. Man, that's so neat. So we can get a look inside. Huh. Use the force, Luke. Of course, he never said that.